Cloud Kingdom is our map, and spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, tying the series up 1-1. Poland, give it up for Empire Kas.
His opponent on Cloud Kingdom starts to the top right in blue. We have with a 1-1 score in this best of 5 in the third game. The player from Germany, it is Socke. And you know, I would actually have loved production to just show our faces before we head into the game. We've been like, well guys, the game's already over. We saw a quick rush there. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Jared blew it.
11-11 racks. That was very, very impressive there by Kas. But no, we have a normal game on the way here. And Socke just throws down his gateway into gas, actually, before any expansion. So not going for super economy for now.
And you know, throughout the tournament, we did this a little bit on day 1 and day 2. We neglected it a little bit today, but I want to do it again. We want to give those players a bit more exposure here, of course, already being in this best of 5. So guys, if you're using social media networks and you use Twitter, then make sure to add Kas. He is on Twitter at Empire_Kas. Socke, of course, is also represented on Twitter. His account is at Socke SC2. It's not only about the players, you can send them a tweet if you want to support them or just tell them about their performance in this tournament. For the two of us, it's at Calaris and at Calder. Go at us as well.
And for now, coming back into this game, we do have Socke here harassing away at the SCV here, trying to get a little bit of a kill, but does not. Denies a little bit of that building time for there. And Socke did this exact same like gateway gas into Nexus opener here once again against Yoda. So we're really getting a glimpse into the repertoire of Socke and how refined it is, because this just allows him to lead on to that little bit of extra tech whilst going economically stable.
Yeah, Socke here wants, of course, a second win. At this point, the big problem that he had on the last map was how QXC explained it. He was just trying to get a little bit too much out of his aggression. It did not work well for him, and now he's in a scenario where we have a 1-1 in the best of 5. The cybernetic score is done. Let's see what Socke is going to do this time. On a map like Cloud Kingdom, gateway attacks have been used in the past. Will he do it again? To the bottom left, his Terran opponent is going into the second base.
And for now, we even have that bunker going down here as well. So Kas here just adding on a few more barracks, trying to keep himself in the know. You have that gateway, warp gate tech on the way as well for Socke. Not too many deviations here from a norm, other than the fact of, well, again, actually, now that I think about it, game 3, I don't really think I can predict what Socke's going to do here. After 2 games, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead.
Well, with Socke, you have, of course, several options now. Timing attacks is something that he can choose here. And we have seen a gateway pressure build by him in the first game. That was the game where he was successful. This is a lot of a smaller map than what we've had in the game number 2 in Whirlwind. So we might see it again. It all depends on what exactly he's going to scout here. For Kas, I feel it's a little bit different. Kas is a player that is pulling a little bit of a show these days. He's not scouting a lot. He just relies on very little information, but his builds are very, very safe and he feels confident in them. So he feels that whatever Socke does here, he's going to identify in the game what's happening, what Socke is going to do, and then he will be able to react accordingly. That's Kas' philosophy going into these matches. For Socke, gathering those information is a bit more crucial, I feel. He adds the robotic spay because he wants to get this glimpse into his opponent's main base, finding out what's going on here, and we have him with 1 gate into expand into Robo.
You're right, and it's an odd thing because for the most part, when you are playing as Protoss going into a Terran space with that observer initially, there's not that many deviations that you really see from the norm, like the 3 barracks into, right, now I'm getting my factory, now I'm getting my starport. It's something that you can easily kind of tease out of your opponent with that observer, and Robo Bay again very, very quickly here for Socke. So he might try and do something that he intended to do in game number 2, but wasn't able to fully get it into rhythm because of what happened early on in that game.
Socke also has another pylon to the right side of the map in the center, and this will help him to identify drop play. If Kas is sneaking in Medivacs at the right side, then this pylon will help him quite a lot. And Kas currently is going into another gas. He already completed this. 3 gas for him going into the additional upgrades. But we have the completed forge for Socke so that he can start with his first armor upgrade, which usually lends us to a more gateway heavy build.
Yeah.
A Attack upgrades is what you see when we have a lot of Colossi out on the game. You want to have this extra DPS, but for now, Socke is prioritizing the armor upgrades over attack.
Yeah, I do love the addition of those armor upgrades, as you rightly pointed out. Just making your gateways that much more tanky against the small packets of DPS coming out from Marines and Marauders on there, especially when they're stimmed up, is very, very strong. And hey, look at this for now. No more pro production just yet from Socke.
Yeah, very important, because he just saw this army move out. He saw with the Observer, he got a glimpse of the army of Kas moving out, so now Socke just moved back. It was so crucial because he was completely out of position with his army when that happened. So if he would have tried to get into the middle of the map, into the center, then Kas could have cut off his forces, could have dominated the funnel, the choke point, moving into the natural as well, sending a few units in there to take down probes. But he identified what was going on. So Socke moving back with the army, cutting probe production for a short amount of time, just to get these extra units out that will help him defend against us.
It's a really nice little small nuance here that we're seeing from Socke, as you've rightly described. And for now, just adding a few more gateways here and there, that Twilight Council on the way as well, whilst he pushes his opponent away. Still no thermal lance, so Socke is really kind of foregoing that extra little boost to the Colossi early in order to just get a few more out, make a few more gas-heavy units, and you can get out like maybe 1 or 2 more sentries. Admittedly, he does have a little bit of a gas bank up right now, but for the most part, he's pushing away the Kas effectively.
This skill losses just helps him so much against early aggression from Kas. If Kas decides to go for for barracks aggression with his bio units, and the Colossus is a very, very strong unit against this. And of course, you always want to force those Vikings, and this is what Kas is doing. He finally saw the Colossus. He's one of those players that you can't really mind game a lot because he just doesn't scout. He still didn't have a glimpse into his opponent's main base. There was no scan, doesn't know anything about the natural. He's just building it his style, and he saw the Colossus in the middle of the map. That's why we see the Vikings now. But Socke going into Templar Archive, going for Storm, the fake that has been so popular in TVP, and also charge upgrade already with a +1 to armor. This will give the Zealots so much strength.
Yeah, there was really, it's a good point you bring up, because there was really no reason that Socke would walk out into the middle of the map with 1 Colossus other than for the fake. So maybe Kas would interpret that as the case, but he's still producing those Vikings.
Good position here. Force field in time, nice positioning by Socke, and with the Colossus he can pick off the Marines, well done. And this Colossus is buying him a lot of time, because this initial aggression by Kas was completely slowed down. Kas looking at the Colossus like, well, I can't really attack that with my very Marine heavy composition. At this point he has a lot more Marauders. He's building 3 Marauders at a time, but by now Storm is halfway done. Still Kas in a bit of a lead overall in supply, but his expansion is also a lot later. He's just now using it on the low ground and transferring those SCVs over, whereas Socke was already mining for a few seconds, a few minutes here. And now even adding the second forge for the double upgrades, as Kas is of course also into engineering base.
It's a nice thing to see here, and getting those double upgrades very, very strong for a Protoss if you can get them flowing. But Kas, with his fantastic macro, that being said, we're slightly supply blocked there as I say that, but still, he does have those units on the way. He's getting a very sizable lead right now in terms of the macro.
And you know what we are not seeing? There it is, the Ghost Academy. I was just about to mention this, because he sees now with the factory, he saw the main base, and this is the first scout that Kas gets. But to this point, he was still assuming that there is a pure Colossi play by his opponent. So he was going for Vikings. He has 6 in total. Socke suddenly, while Assaid caught out of position with those sentries, losing 2 of the Vikings, targeting the Colossus. Bam, there we go. 1 Colossus less, now he has none, but he has High Templars with Storm, and up to the point where we have Ghosts in the game, he can use those.
Those gateway forces being extremely, extremely strong here for Socke if he's able to engage with them. But Kas, meanwhile, just dancing around. He never, 6 Vikings, I think, was a really good number for Kas. He never fully over-committed to the Vikings, but they still dealt with the posed potential threat really well.
Kas macro is just so incredible. He's still at 170 supply against 124, but Storm ignores those upgrades, and if he gets good positions, then he can take them down. Marine starting in, killing 1 of the High Templars. Still Kas in pursuit. He has the bigger army at this point. 85 army supply against 65. Socke with another round of warp hits. Here come the Zealots charging in. +2 armor is done. He's going for it. Can he drop another Storm? Does he have the energy for a defensive one? He needs it. And another stream of Kas is chasing all the units down before they can reach the safety of the choke point. And even that is not enough.
Those High Templars don't have any energy for the Storm. Kas realized that at the very beginning as well, with those 2 Storms going down at the beginning, dodging them really, really nicely here. All his army is solo. That Storm's gonna hurt. Pulling all the probes as well. The second Storm lands on that fire. No Storm dodges there for Kas. cleans up eventually. Oh, the army was so low for so long.
He was stimming so much because he wanted to chase down these units. And just think about what would have happened if Socke had this energy for the storm already when Kas was moving up the ramp. At this point, his entire army was exposed, low zone hit points. He could have done so much more and he would have lost so much less. The upgrades. That's a big story in this game. Currently we have Kas on 2 attack, 1 armor, but Socke is going to be on 3 armor upgrades and +1 attack. He will have a slight lead here. The big problem for him really is that Kas just doesn't stop. Zealot run by again. 3rd base, 4th base, that's where Socke takes down Harvesters. But the big problem for him is really that Kas is always a step ahead of him at this game.
Yeah, right now, despite the 12 worker kills that Socke has accrued himself, it's still 77 workers to 65 in favor of Kas right now. And then again, with about 30 supply up at this point, the Terran looking phenomenal, and mixing in those ghosts, getting that +3 weapons. Colossus production has begun once again here for Socke because he needs to mix in a lot of those potential AoE abilities, but actually he did get Thermal, so excuse me. So that's going to be very effective, and eventually Kas is really going to want to swing his gas back into those Vikings a little bit.
Socke needs storms. He needs really, really good storms in the next battle. It's 5 High Templars against 5 Ghosts. The upgrades for Socke are done, +2 started, but also Kas started his double upgrades again. And this 4th base has to be cancelled, so now we are looking at 4 bases for Kas, getting a 5th base. The Arcanine dying, oh my god, if he gets the MP against those Ghosts, against the High Templars, doesn't get it, trying to go for a snipe here. Another base at the bottom right now for Kas. So Kas, he just doesn't stop. He is merciless here.
Yeah, he can easily keep Socke pinned back here whilst expanding down to the bottom right-hand corner. There's not a whole lot Socke can do about that, unless, of course, he continues to go for those Zealot aggressive moves, which he is going to down to the 4th. That's pretty darn vulnerable. The army is a little bit out of position. It will be forced to pull back to actually clean that up.
Yep, he needs to move back with his army, which he doesn't do. He sends the reinforcements over, losing a few SCVs. In total, Socke took down 19 Harvesters, which is quite a lot, but it's not enough to pressure Kas too much. Kas is building a massive bank at this point, and he's adding additional bases, he's adding additional production capabilities. He has so many units now. It's the engagement that really counts now. Socke needs a massive win in the next fight.
Yeah, he does here. And it's going to be hard. Going up against an army of this magnitude is so difficult for a Protoss, unless he can accrue that dream army. A lot of Archons, a few Colossi, maybe 4 or 5 mixed in there with some High Templars to boot. He needs that good engagement. We still have that Zealot harassment on the way to the 3rd.
I really like that Socke sticks with this, that he always is able to get a few in there, and even Kas is so annoyed by this at this point that we have him now with the Sensor Tower. He wants to have an idea of where Socke is moving his units into his mineral lines, so this is really important. A 2nd starport also done, so Kas can react to whatever Socke is doing, but the Protoss player has 185 supply. He's going for the maxed army. He's keeping him a bit supply free. He only has 1 robotics that he can use, adding additional gateways so he can max out. But look at those 4,000 minerals and 1,300 gas for Kas. If he has the production, he can remax in seconds.
Yeah, you stole the words right out of my mouth there. That bank is absolutely massive here for Kas. He does dodge a little bit of those storms. Nice, even potentially baiting them out, to be honest with you. Kas here just forcing his opponent to come to him here as he lays potential siege. Well, not literally, but you know, you get the point.
Socke is trying to mine now, yeah, I mean, of course, and now we have all those units in a position where the mineral mining isn't really going to be that easy. The storms here by Socke are decent, especially when it comes down to the Vikings. He can't take them down, and with those 4 Colossi, maybe Socke can turn this around, and he's charging it with the Zealots. The Archons are also closing the distance. A lot of damage done. Look at the supply for Kas. He's getting crushed here.
Oh, Kas never got cloak for his ghosts. He never got any of the upgrades, and without that, he ultimately finds himself in a terrible, terrible spot, with Socke now taking a massive victory in that engagement.
Socke just crushed the entire army, and this is exactly the fight that he was hoping for. We have Kas now with so many minerals and gas. He's trying to hit those production cycles, but looking at the production tab, he actually doesn't have enough buildings to get rid of all this money. He never accounted for suffering such huge losses at the hands of Socke. Socke is now in a position where he suddenly can take this game. It's incredible. Kas in the last fight got demolished.
Yeah, he really did. Socke really bringing the pressure now to that naturally. If he can kill off and just set on all of these production facilities, he is going to be in an amazing shape as the Vikings trying to bring down the last Colossi, but all the Vikings die off. There's really not much more Kas can do here. So much gateway force sat on these production facilities means that Kas has to GG.
GG.